Good day, this is Mystic CHIVICIN, and I welcome you today to our YouTube channel. This is a course on flyer design. It's a complete course that will guide every graphic designer on how to come up with great flyers that will be compelling and they will be appealing to a viewer's eyes. So today, under this flyer design course, we'll be looking at what makes a great flyer. What makes a great flyer? And under what makes a great, when you talk about what makes a great flyer, it's just like a question you're asking, and or it's just like a statement you're saying the things that makes a great flyer, and those things are the principles behind every great flyer. So what we'll be discussing today is are the principles of flyer design. Principles of flyer design. Every flyer you see, every flyer you see, they keep these principles will be outlining here. Now I want to say that there are many principles of flyer design. As you're working as a graphic designer, you will be seeing many principles that works better for you. But these ones we are outlining here, they are basic principles every graphic designer keep. There are the things that are behind the work you're seeing online or offline. Now, once a designer understands these basic principles, they can combine them intentionally to create more pleasing designs. So we'll be looking at these principles now. I'm outlining 5 to you. The first one I'll be outlining to you today is a principle of contrast. Contrast. Contrast is the when we say something is contrasting, just in normal English. When we say something is contrasting, we are talking we are what we mean is like something that are opposite, or something that are conflicting each other, something that is contrasting, something that is conflicting each other. And this is a principle that is very important as a graphic designer, because your contrast can guide a viewer's eye to a particular point in that design. They can guide the viewer's eye because the way these contrasts work, you should know how to position your elements in such a way that they will not contrast each other. They won't contrast each other. Two things will not contrast each other. I will give you an example using a design. Now look at this design now. Every element here, they are they are well arranged. Now the principle of contrast now is what guided me to, as I'm using a light background, my elements are something that are dark. I'm using a light background here. My logo here is black. That was why I use a dark text here. That was why I'm using dark things, so that these two colors are contrasting. This black here and this the background color, the background item, we made it light so that it will contrast with this color, to contrast with the color of the elements here, so that you can see these elements, because graphic design is all about passing information, as you can see it. Now look at this place now. I had to put a blue box behind this text here. If you watch this text here, we use a lighter color, which are lighter colors, which are yellow and white. To we use them here, and we put a dark color behind it, which is this blue you're seeing. Now these two colors are contrasting. We use the principle of contrast here to make this visible. Now when a viewer look at this design now, the first thing his eyes will go to is the estrogen hub. The principle of contrast is working here. Let's look at another design. Look at this design now. We use the principle of contrast here. If you watch here, I the designer, I was the one that designed this work. I designed this in such a way that when you look at this, because the main message of this design is 2 days of restorations. That's the main message of this design, 2 days of restorations. Now I designed this in such a way that I made these restorations visible because it's the main message. I made it visible, and if you watch it behind this restoration, you will see something like a dark shadow. All these things are principles of contrast that we are keeping. So the principle of contrast will make you know how to darken some part of your image so that the light part will be visible, or know how to lighten some part of an image so that the dark parts will be visible. That is what the principle of contrast entail. Contrast is the difference between the elements that makes them stand out from each other. So it's the difference between each elements that makes them stand out. Look at this. This now is different from this. It's different from this. Now there's a way we design it to make them what stand out. So that's the principle of contrast being kept. Please, I know you're following. Please, if you've not subscribed to this channel, please do that now. Just subscribe and turn on your notification button. Thank you. Now we'll be going to the second principle of flyer design. If you have any question, feel free to drop it at the comment section, and I will assure you that I will attend to them. Now the second principle we'll be looking at is the principle of hierarchy. The principle of hierarchy. This principle is very important because it this principle decides what should come first in your design and what should follow. What should come first, what should come next, and what should follow. It gives importance to different elements in your design, because every element in your design, they are all important, but some has more importance than the other. Let's look at this design again. Look at this design. The main message of this design is this your restorations. These are restorations. So by hierarchy, we made it bigger and we made it more visible, so that when somebody look at this design, the first thing he sees is restorations, 2 days of restorations. That's the first thing he sees. So hierarchy gives importance to your design. Now when you look at the design now, restorations, 2 days of restoration is the first thing you see. The next thing you see is the date, which is Friday 7th and Sunday 9th April 2023. This is the next thing you see before you start looking at other details. So the principle of hierarchy decides what comes first, what goes next, and what should follow. Look at this design. The first thing your eyes will go to is your broken worship, because that's the main message of this design. Before you now see your sweet smelling savor. Now the last thing that your eyes might even want to go to might be this Sonny Great and the Ministers. It's an important thing in this design, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is this message here. So we use the principle of hierarchy to give importance to different elements, and we do that by either giving it either using contrast to make it more visible, or you make it enlarged, you make it like something enlarged. Now if you watch this April 22nd, now we put a lighter something behind it. It is still the principle of contrast working here. I'm just showing us. Now we use the principle. Now if you watch this Assemblies of God Church Circle 1, let me just use it to explain hierarchy here. When you look at this venue here, your eyes will first of all go to the name of the church before the venue. It is the principle of hierarchy that played here. Now I designed this in such a way that I made the name of the church bold, and I used a different color, something like yellow, that will appeal first before the white. Now when you look at this, you first of all see the name of the church, which is the thing that is more important than the address. So by hierarchy, we use hierarchy to give importance to different elements in our design. I don't know if you're following. Now the next principle we are going to be looking at is the principle of white space. Wow, white space. This principle, many graphic designers um fail to use it. Many graphic designers are not aware of it. Now when you see white space, what comes white space is not about giving a white space in your design. No, 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 no. It's not talking about maybe having a space where it will be white. No. White space is talking about making your design making your design to have to be spacious, to have breathing space, not overcrowding your designs. Now it's not about the amount of the elements you're using. No, it's not about the amount of the elements you're using. It's about knowing how to arrange those elements so that your design will have enough space. That thing gives much beauty to design. It gives much beauty to designs to when your design is spacious. Now look at these designs now. Now if you watch now, all these spaces here, they were intentionally kept. There is a way you enlarge this your theme. Maybe when you enlarge this broken worship now, when you enlarge it to cover maybe some part of this design will not be looking fine. All these spaces here, they are the white space we are talking about. They are intentionally kept there. It gives beauty to your design. Now if you're designing, make sure you know how to arrange your elements in such a way that your design will have space. It will have breathing space. We call it breathing space. It will have that space. It's called white space. When your design have that space, it will give beauty to your design. So these are the principles that many graphic designers keep. Many professional graphic designers keep. Now look at this design now. You can see the spaces. You can see the spaces. You can see the spaces. All these spaces, they were intentionally kept. Now when you're designing, don't make your design too crowded. Don't make it too crowded. Let it have space. Don't overcrowd the design. It's not about how much elements you're using, because many people, they will now tell you that maybe because there are some people that has small little elements, but they will crowd their designs with those elements, and the design will not be looking fine in the eyes. So don't make your design too crowded. Intentionally keep this principle when you're designing. The principle of white space. Intentionally keep it when you're designing. Look at this design now. Look at this design. Look at this design. You can see how white space was kept here. First of all, look at the design now. This I use the principle of hierarchy to give importance that the first thing you see here is Tom Brown. Tom Brown. First option, Tom Brown. Even before the first option is Tom Brown. It's principle of hierarchy that played there. Now if you watch now, there are spaces, plenty space around here. Look at it. Look at spaces, different spaces. These are white space. It will make your design look beautiful. There's a way you overcrowd this design now, the design will not look fine. It will not look fine. It is the principle of white space that is playing here. If you're following, I know you're following. Please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do that now. And also click on the notification button. You see, the reason I'm telling you to click on your notification button is because we'll be releasing more videos that will help you, especially as a graphic designer. It will help you very well. Not just as a graphic designer, as a creative. Maybe you're in the creative market, you're a content creator, you're into anything creation. This channel will help you a lot. So we'll be releasing more videos so that you'll be the first person that will be notified of any new video we release that will help you. So the next principle we're going to be looking at, we've looked at the principle of white space. The next principle we're going to be looking at is the principle of repetition. The principle of repetition. The principle of repetition, this one is not difficult. It's just about repeating different things in your design. These things help. Now look at this design now. A particular color was being repeated. There are certain colors that were being repeated in this design. It will make your design look beautiful. Now look at this color now, this yellow. I repeated the yellow here. This white here, they were repeated. Look at this color now is being repeated everywhere. So all these things are this principle of what? Repetition. Principle of repetition. Let's look at another way principle of repetition can be applied. Let's look at another way. Look at this. Listen now. Different one particular color was being repeated. Now, in principle of repetition, you can repeat colors, you can repeat a particular shape. There are some designs that you will see, it will have something, maybe a cycle will be here. That cycle will be repeated around that design. Look at the design now for Tizo. You will see that the principle of repetition is being kept here. You see this bulb now, this bulb here, it was repeated in the design. This photizo, this one here now is the main, just like the logo of the design. That is why it's still here like this. But this bulb is being repeated there. It will give beauty. It's another way of giving beauty to your design. So you know how to repeat different elements in your design. Repeat different elements in your design. When you're repeating them like that, it might be a color, it might be a particular shape, it might be an image. But when you repeat things like that, but if you're using this principle, you make sure that you'll be very professional about it. That's why, as a graphic designer, as a working as a graphic designer, how will I put it? As a working as a graphic designer, how you should make sure you practice always. You practice always, because these things, it is through practice that you gain mastery. The more you practice this thing, the more you get better at it. So if you're using this principle, the principle of repetition, you should make sure that you will be very professional about it, so that it will add more um, more beauty to your design. Look at this design now. Look at this design. If you watch this happy birthday, this happy it, I made this design yesterday for for this Pastor Favor Dabs. Now, if you watch this happy birthday, I repeated it at the background of this image. It was repeated. All these things were intentionally done. There are principles that you keep. Without this happy birthday, it will still be fine, but this happy birthday added more beauty to the design. So all these things are principles of what? Repetition. Now let's look at the next one, the principle of alignment, which is the last principle I'll be talking about. These are basic principles every graphic designer keep. The principle of alignment is talking about how you arrange your design. How you arrange your design. So basically, you can give your design center alignment, or right alignment, or left alignment. Let's look at all that. Let's look at this. Look at design. Look at this design now. This design maintained a center alignment. Everything were um aligned to the center. Everything we are aligned to the center. Now there is something here and there is something here, making it balanced. All these text aligned to the center, to the image. If you watch, everything we are aligned to the center. Even this happy birthday at the background was aligned to the center. Look at this design. This design took a right alignment. If you watch this venue here, everything we are aligned accurately to the right. And all this, now you can in design, you can use more than one alignment in your design, but it should still flow together. It should still flow together. Now see, look at the professional, everything, all these things needs professionalism if you're doing it. Look at the professional work I did here. Now this place now was aligned to the center accurately, and all these elements here were aligned to the center. No, this was aligned to the left accurately, and all these elements here were aligned to the center of this one. All these elements here were aligned to the center of this one. So it will look as if it's a center alignment, whereas this one has left alignment, and this one here was aligned to the right of this one. So every element here, they were aligned to this one. They were aligned to this one. This one was aligned to the right. You can see how beautiful this design is looking. Why? Because we arrange them well. They are not just scattered around the design. All these things are things that when you intentionally keep them, they will add beauty to your design. Look at this design. It used a center alignment. Everything we aligned to the center with different text here. Everything we aligned. This one used a center alignment. Seems like I like using center alignment very well. This one was aligned to the center. I'm trying to look at other alignments. Okay, look at this now. This image, the image of these ministers here were aligned to the center. This one too was aligned to the center, and everything is fitting well. Okay, perfect. Look at this design now. Everything here was aligned. Everything were aligned to the left. Everything we align to the left. Everything we align to the left. So when you keep this principle of alignment very well, this one is a center alignment. When you keep this principle of alignment very well, it gives order to your design. So it doesn't just give beauty to your design, it gives order. That is one of the um principal thing alignment does to your design. It gives order to your design. It gives order to your design. It makes your design look arranged and make it look beautiful. Hope you are following. Hope you are following. I'm just trying to go so that the video won't be too lengthy. Now, the next principle we are going to talk about, which is the last one we'll be looking at, is the sixth one. Let me just add this one to it, which is the principle of what would I call this? It's rhythm or rhyme. Now, this principle now is talking about making different things rhyme in your design. Making different things rhyme in your design. I'm going to explain. Now. Making different things rhyme in your design. Now, the space between here to here should rhyme with the space between here to here. The space between here to here should rhyme with the space between here to here. You can see it. The space between here to here should rhyme with the space between here to here. These spaces here, they should rhyme with each other. If you watch, this space is rhyming with this space. So all these things, they were intentionally kept. They are principles. Now, if you watch, all these spaces, they are rhyming with each other. That's the principle of rhyme or rhythm. You can see it. You can see it. The space between here to here is rhyming with the space. It's rhyming with the space between here to here. You can see it. Everything, they were intentionally done. Now you look, space between here to here is rhyming with this one. You can see how these principles are being kept. These principles are being kept. Now I want you now, having all these principles at heart, now, I want you now to intentionally look at any flyer you're seeing now. Just be seeing, looking at them. Look at how they are keeping these principles. It will make study them very well. It will make you get better at it. Study them very well. Look at how they keep these principles and see how you can apply them to your design. The principles of flyer design which we talked about are the principle of contrast, principle of hierarchy, principle of white space, repetition, alignment, rhythm. I just want you from now start looking at flyers, good flyers that you see that you love. Any flyer you see that you love, start looking at them. Know what you can learn from those flyers, how they kept these principles. Know how you can learn from them and know how to do what, how to apply them to your own work. Thank you very much for watching this video today. This is still the flyer design course, and we'll still add more videos to this. There are more videos that will still come out. We've seen some videos before this one, and then more videos will still come out, and as they are dropping, we'll be updating them to the description of this video. So both the videos that preceded this and the videos that will come after this one, we'll drop all of them to the link to all of them to the description of this one, so that you can follow with everything. It's a complete course on flyer design, and I know that to bless you. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and turn on your notification button, because there are more things that are still coming on board that you would like to have, and once they come, you should be the first person that will be notified about it. Thank you very much. If this bless you, thank you very much. I am Mystic CHIVICIN, and I want to say that I love you and God bless you.